alternate reality. And I was drowning, but now I'm swimming through stressful waters to relieve.
Fireman's West on Thanksgiving morning. Amazing that we've been trying to plan this interview for at least a couple of weeks, and then bam, last night we said, are you in town? And here he is, the champion, the MVP of the World Series, Zack Ashkenazi. Zach, welcome.
Norman, how you doing?
Doing
to
great.
be here. Beautiful day outside, Thanksgiving Day. And yeah, feels good. Feels good to finally be here.
Feels like a real off season because we're back here, and a little chill, but a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. Nicer than some of the opening days that
Nicer than all of the
opening days, yeah.
We have not had great luck on opening days, tell you the truth.
Last year was freezing on Oceanport at the racetrack, and it was gorgeous here.
It was gorgeous here. This year we're going to push the envelope again. We want to start in March. We have 3 weeks before Passover, hopefully.
Love it.
But before we get there, and I want to talk about the magical run that you had, but there's also been some controversy amid that run. Let's go right at it. I was thinking how I want to open with you.
Jumping right in.
I want to jump right in. I want to jump right in. You have no idea what I'm going to hit you with. But what happened with AB pitcher Cohen? You traded for him to be your pitcher.
Forgot about that.
And we have forgotten about it. We haven't discussed it. But what's the story? You traded him with his son, and then you did not give him the ball to pitch. Why?
I was giving him the ball to pitch, so we'll start with that. But you know, I really don't know what happened. I can't, take you inside what he was thinking. But we were talking for a while, and wow, as the breeze rolls in, we were talking for a while on the side. I was texting him, okay, I need you these 2 weeks. He said I may not be able to make it one of the 2 weeks, but I'll be there for you the second week, and it's fine. So we were talking about that. Okay, everything was going smooth, and then I didn't get any rumblings of anything, and all of a sudden I woke up one Friday and I found out from you that he dropped out. I mean, that's as far as I know. It just hit me sort of out of left field. I was not expecting it because he told me I'm missing one of the weeks and I'll be there for you one of the weeks. Don't worry, you can rely on me. I'm sure he had his reasons that made sense for him. After speaking to him, after that I texted him right away, what's going on? He said, I don't think it's fair. My head's not there. I'm not invested in the team. You're better off getting someone else. So,
yeah, I don't know. He was angling to get on the Pickles for quite some time behind the scenes. I don't know why he wanted to be on that team. I mean, they had a great offense and everything, but you guys had everything, and you were giving him the ball for 4 games if he showed up for those games. I don't know why he refused to accept that deal, considering the situation he was in.
Yeah, he was a reigning champ at the time, so I'm sure he had a lot of pride that he could still get it done, which he could. I don't think anyone's disputing that. I think he felt he deserved the full-time starting role, which I could agree with that. I mean, it was better than what the Pickles did, but he had no games to his name. I was willing to give him 4, where no one else was willing to give him any, so I was... I thought, and I still feel that I did right in that situation. And of course, he wants to play all 14 games. I don't blame him at all. But, it's just the way the cookie crumbled, and we went on to be champs. So I'm not looking back to...
You're not looking back, and Tuna is now a champ as well. And boy, did he contribute. I don't know if AB would have gone 3-1 in those games.
Yeah, it's a sort of, different vibe that we have that, Tuna sort of fit the mold for sure, dating back to the Butter days, even though we weren't as successful then, but we sort of formed a bond, Tuna and I.
You were churning back then.
Yeah, we were
churning. And I think it takes time sometimes for that butter to mold.
It takes time. I can't believe Tuna hasn't been in the league since, but him and I remained close from those days. We talk every now and then how much we wanted to run it back. I got to thank Fonz Mystery for that one, by the way. Tuna did not even enter my brain. I just get a text from Fonz one day. He said, Tuna. I guess after the league found out about, AB dropping out, he just texted me Tuna. I didn't even answer. I didn't even process it at the time. I think I woke up the next day and called Tuna. I'm like, here's the situation. We need you 4 games, no commitment. That's it. He was
This whole situation started because of the 2 pitchers being taken by one team. And I was talking to Max Sutton this past week, and I told him, Max, you have no chance to be captain because you were the guy that basically...
He was orchestrating it behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, or even in front of the scenes. I don't even think it was a secret that he was orchestrating that.
Well, it was secret until post-draft. No one knew that was happening, that Max and Eddie were working together. I would not have assumed that, and then
But they didn't know either going into this. No one could have known that Mo Haber's going to take 2 pitchers. No one could have known that that's going to happen, and then a team is actually going to put up the stance that they don't want a pitcher.
Right. That's the shocking part, is the second part of that someone would choose to not have a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, Mo Haber, I think he did everything right, and I've been on the record saying this, that I was going to do that, a pick later. Instead of taking DR, who was sort of a luxury for me at that time, I couldn't believe he was around in the 9th round. But I said, if Jeffrey Saka does not go here, I wanted Leo, because Leo could play second base.
That's a big
Leo
difference, though. That's a huge difference. Yeah. You take Leo, and then you could argue Leo's a better pitcher than Jeffrey. Also, you could argue
you don't even need to go there. But the guy I wanted, if in 3 picks was Leo Cass, and I was taking him.
But
so
would you have been able, let's
me.
say you did that, and then the other team held out, would you have been able to look at Leo, a 2-time champion in 4 years, 2 rings in 4 years the guys had, the White Walkers and
the Knights.
Oh wow, I'm totally in off-season mode.
Game.
My
off-season
God.
mode.
Would you have been able to tell them that you're going to pitch 4 games when Naby's not here and play second base the rest of the way?
I mean, listen, Naby goes in a normal year top 3 undisputed, so I would have had no choice. I always have to do what's best for the team. I would have said, Leo, I need you these 4 games, and you're going to hit, or you're going to play a little bit of second base. And if a trade happens, I'll be willing to trade you, of course. But
and we know from Max he would have been more open to taking Leo. He didn't want Jeffrey. He didn't want Jeffrey. And clearly they didn't want A.B. Cohen either.
Right. Well, whatever they did was bad, so
they
should have taken anyone.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is because you mentioned Fonz Misery. Was he just being a good teammate, or is he as delusional as the other ones? Because all season he's saying that our pitcher's just as good as anybody else's, and MC has as good stuff as anybody else. But no, he doesn't.
Right.
So was he just, parroting the company line, or is he deranged as well?
I think the whole company is deranged. I think it's a little bit of both. He was parroting the company line, but there's something wrong with the company. Birdman was telling me those things for 6 months. He said MC could do it. MC could do it. Our offense could put up 12 runs a game, so it doesn't matter if he gives up 6.
How could Birdman say such a thing? He was on a championship team the year before. He's been in this league for a long time, Birdman. How could he say, in this league, we're going to just outscore everybody when we know that doesn't happen?
It was something that Eddie, Michon, and Max must have been preaching from, post-draft. You make that group chat right away. His message must have been, guys, this is the situation. Our team's insane. We're going to have, we're going to outscore everyone. Don't worry about the situation.
Now, Zach, part of that trade sent David Rishti to Moshiach.
Yeah.
He then did not report to camp, or he reported 1 week, and then...
He reported with a bulky knee.
And then he went off to take care of that bulky knee. Right then and there, right at that moment is when that surgery happened or didn't happen or whatever it was. What do we do as a league with A.B. Cohen, David Rishti? I assume they both have retired now, but what if they sign up? What do we do as a league with these type of people that get traded and don't report?
It's tough. I mean, DR, I love Champ together, but this is one of those moments where I say, yeah, we all love him. Everyone does.
And I'm a champ with him also.
Oh, yeah, okay,
he's been on so many rings, this guy.
I think he has 5, maybe.
And I'm telling you, he would have had a real job on Moshiach.
He would have had I think he would have had a real job for me also. I don't know how it would have played out exactly, because like the famous whiteboard show, we had arrows everywhere, so something would have happened, but it's how it played out. What do we do as a league? I don't know. This is one of the moments where I'm happy I'm not wearing the commissioner's hat. I'm happy to be just a player and a captain, because it's a tough decision to make. I don't know what you do.
I don't even know if they'll even sign up. I don't know who will sign up or not.
They could be turned off for good and say, I'm out. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to maybe not have a starting role. Thank God we have a lot of talent in this league. It's beautiful. I think more talent rolls in year after year. So
There's a good batch coming in this year.
good batch, another good. Last year's rookie class was outstanding.
Outstanding.
So,
And we didn't even know. This year's rookie class, I'm talking about young rookies, not known rookies.
Right.
This year's rookie class is gonna wow some people.
Wow.
We have at least 3 studs coming in, maybe more, but we have some young blood coming in.
Love
That's
it.
just sheer talent.
Love it.
And they know the league because they've been around the league since they're kids, but we have to see how they adjust.
Right.
Wow, okay. So now, let me ask you this. Going through your season a little bit. No, first let me ask you about the whiteboard show, because you
Okay.
mentioned all the arrows. As a captain, right, you have your plan. You go into the draft. Everyone's plan gets ripped up at some point because something changes.
Right.
in the
Draft is mayhem.
But you go into the draft with your plan, you come out of the draft, you look at your team, you have your own opinion, right? And of the other teams. When you see the whiteboard show, does it change your opinion? Does it affect your opinion? Or is it these guys don't know what I'm trying to think? Because my opinion is that we were dead on balls accurate about your team with all those arrows, because until you made the trade for Aharon, you had too many holes on your team. That's my opinion. Did that affect you, or did you already know that? How do you look at that?
It's a good question. It's a good question that I have. So it's a tough answer. Also, I think you guys were dead on in the moment. I of course knew. I'm not oblivious. I'm not like the Pickles, saying
Right.
that they're going to win regardless of the situation. I had a plan. I executed my plan to perfection, and I was very happy. I said Jacob Cohen's going to be my left fielder, Juber's going to be my second baseman, Los is going to be in center, Loudon in right. Going through the year, just to fast forward a little bit, Loudon did not touch a ball until maybe the postseason. Naby was on, dealing. The left fielder was...
Until he saved the game for you in the postseason.
Yeah, he was tremendous. I'm sure we'll get into that, but Jacob Cohen wouldn't have been tested out there. Left field, there was not a ball blasted over his head. He was phenomenal coming in on it and side to side. Over his head was his issue, but it ended up not happening. But there was a feeling inside of me that said, we're not complete. And similar to my swimming championship year, I had no third baseman. Avi Dweck or Ruby Saka was my third baseman. I had a similar feeling where I said, the team is not complete. I wasn't resting. I finally made that trade for Nathan Batesh to play third base after the draft. Ended up fixing my team.
Right.
Same thing this year with Aharon. Sort of, we had the left field hole, but it was creating other holes as well. When I got Aharon, everything sort of fell into place, and there was no more holes. So I think in the moment you guys were accurate, but also Jack Abadi said on that whiteboard show, he said if they're live June 2nd, which was the day Nay gets back,
Yep.
this team is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So we were alive on June 2nd, and we were dangerous.
You
So
were definitely dangerous once you got over that hump, and going 3-1 without Naby was just utterly insane.
yeah,
Nobody
couldn't have dreamed it.
Nobody expected that. You did play the Chicago Black Sox during those 4 games, and you swept them. And, they got the biggest break in the world because everyone was angling to see who is playing shake and bake without Naby.
Yep.
What I'm shocked about is because I did the
We
schedule.
also had about 6 rainouts in a row.
Yes. So I did the schedule in a simulator on the computer, and I recorded it. So in case anybody ever asked me, I could show them that it wasn't fixed. Not one person asked me, how'd you decide this team is week 6, and then it kept changing, and everyone forgot about it. But they got the lucky break. They were fighting for their lives. As an opposing captain, when you see the Joe G team, and now you're facing the Joe G team, and I'm talking everything. You have Jeffrey, you have Henry, you got Bub, you got Mo Mala, who couldn't hit a ball this year somehow. You have all this dysfunction on the team, Ike Batesh, on down. how do you look at a team like that? Like you're
It's funny.
laughing now,
I'm
but
laughing,
in
yeah.
real time, are you laugh? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, in real time, heading into that matchup, I wasn't laughing because we didn't have our ace on the mound. Tuna was coming in. He didn't pitch in 3 years in any league. I didn't know what to expect. I knew we needed to win. I said, over these 4 games, we got to go 2-2. We got to find a way. We had Brew Crew upcoming, so, that was a challenge. I said, we got to win every game. We were locked in, but, after playing that team, it was a tough 2 games that we had to win. It wasn't like we blew them out. We had to fight, but it was a tough year for the Black Sox. I think dysfunction breeds a little more dysfunction, and when things are not going right, it sort of snowballs, and no one's having fun, and it's just the attitude and a mindset that you show up to the field with once things are not going your way.
It's like a cloud. It's a cloud.
It's a cloud. And I've been there, by the way. It's all roses for me right now. I'm coming off a ring, but I've been on bad teams also where it's just a cloud and there's nothing you could do. And
It's funny.
it's
I've
just
been on
not
those
fun.
teams also.
Yeah, we all have. You play long enough, you have good and you have bad.
It's funner when you're really bad and you just give up hope and it
Yeah.
just becomes a dag.
Right,
it's
like
funner when
I
you-
was on a team, Legion of Boom, Joe Eshko
Right.
drafted me in the first round. And after 2 weeks, we said, okay, we're not good,
We've
but
no
we had
chance.
but we had a blast.
You
Boy,
had
did we
fun.
have a blast. Then you have other years like Time, where you just weren't having fun. No one was having fun. You look around and it's 2 different things.
Talking about time, because that's the last time you won the World Series and you were drafting again. You drafted amid your darkness wellness retreat that you went on.
Yeah, that was not
What
smart.
are they called? Hayasaka? Whatever
No,
it is.
no.
You were-
Ayahuasca.
Yeah. So you drafted while under
Who
the
kno-
influence of
Who knows?
something, and the results really showed. What are we doing this year? Or are you just giving up the year this year? Are you going to say, I just won it, I'm going to rest on my laurels, and we'll throw another year down the toilet? What are you doing?
I learned from my mistakes. I sort of, took my foot off the gas that year coming off a ring. Obviously, I was still trying to win, but, I wasn't as locked in as I needed to be.
Mhm.
And I was away for the draft, and obviously the product showed. This year is a different mindset. I'm coming back to win. You can't give up these years, I'm in my prime,
Yeah.
and you got to stack as many rings as possible. I think I have a good plan. Obviously, it's a little early, but I have a sort of framework of what I want to do, and I hope I'm able to execute it.
Your last 2 rings were with studs on the mound.
Yeah.
Yedid and Nabi. And in both cases, you traded up for them, or Nabi you didn't have to trade?
Maybe I traded,
You
a
traded.
few picks.
Oh, a couple of picks,
Because
because he was
Mo
missing.
Haber drafted Max Yedid, and then Nay sort of fell to him again. He said, hey, you want him? Sure.
Right. Okay, fine. Is your plan automatically going to include one of these 2 top guys, or are you open to, because you have not won without one of the studs, really?
Yeah, I'm not going to reveal much, but, the swimming year, I was able to trade up for Max. I don't think Max was valued where he is now.
Yeah, you
So,
bought early on Max.
Yeah,
that
bought early on Max, and he's tremendous. I think, he goes where he goes now. That's what it is. Maybe I got lucky this year. The Israel thing, I don't know why. It was Israel, plus he was coming off 2 terrible years. I think it was because he was captain and nothing else,
Yeah.
really. So I got lucky. I don't think those guys will ever leave the top 5 or top 6 ever again, and it's going to be tough for me to, trade where I draft from up there again. So, I mean, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm not counting on it. I think
Right.
it's a long shot.
People are saying they will not allow you to draft the great 6-1 this year. How are you going to have a team? I mean, since I'm running the league, which is now, this is going into year number 6.
Yeah.
5 years,
5.
you've been with Jigga every time. It's by far the most...
Even when Bub drafted me, he drafted Jigga, so.
100%. And that was part of the clause when he drafted you. You were surprised when he drafted you, but you then insisted that he draft Jigga.
Yeah.
And it's 5 years running, and you're right, you were not captain one of the years, and it's the longest running tandem that we have here.
Yeah, it's even longer than Nabi and his father, Lewis.
It
So,
is.
It's crazy. But love Jigga, obviously tremendous player. But I think we had a little conversation this year where after the season we made our peace with, like, this could be the last year.
Yeah.
We think that it is. We're happy to have 2 rings together and, 5 years of fun, tremendous fun. And it's okay. It's okay. We made our peace. I'm not gonna wreck my team for Jigga to draft him, a few rounds early. People call me crazy because of where I draft him already, and that's fine. But it's not gonna go much past this. I'm not willing to do it as great as he is. But
It's
we've had our
great
fun.
because Mishon and Yedid used to be together every year, but they manipulated the draft. You have to do it the real way.
Yeah.
You have to draft him or trade for him or whatever it is. Like, you have to go into the draft knowing that he's an open player available for anybody.
And it's tough, by the way. Like a year like this one, I think where the draft played out. I took a pitcher, and then I took Saban, who's a first baseman, and then I took a catcher, and I took Mocas. I didn't have any other really,
Weird, yeah.
premier positions.
You didn't have an outfield for a
No.
while.
So picking a catcher where you pick a catcher, it wrecks your draft sort of. So you gotta have a plan. You gotta know what you're doing. But there's a certain point where you could go up until for a guy that plays catcher. And it's not to diminish. Obviously, he's the best at what he does. But
It's like the Mets
Right.
when they used to be under a budget and they had Piazza making the most money on the team. That's why their outfielders always stunk in those
it's like
days.
the NFL. You can't pay a running back $20 million
Exactly.
a year. It just doesn't work.
Exactly. Okay, fine. Looking back last year, was there a point early when you knew you were going to win the World Series? Did you get that feeling? Because I know with swimming, by week 2, you were like, this team, no one's going to beat this team with the defense that we have.
Yeah, once I think after week 1 we got on the field, and I sort of had a different feeling that this team could do it, but it's going to be challenging. It's not going to be like swimming where we go 12-2 and we dominate. It was a different sort of feeling. It was a little uncertainty because Naby was going away. I knew we just got to make the playoffs and we're golden.
Right.
We sort of had a moment here. I think it was week 6. We played the Pickles on this field, and after that, we played terribly. We
You
managed
didn't
to
play
split.
well that game. I remember
Our
that.
whole team played terrible. Naby was back, and we all looked at each other after the game. We said, "Guys, we suck. Like, we're actually not good." I don't know what we thought that we were good. It's not true. We're not good. If we want to win this thing, we gotta put our heads down and really, really dig deep to win. But once we got to the playoffs, we secured that bye.
No. After that week, you
Yeah.
had a week 7.
Week
And
7.
that's when you turned it up. You turned up the
Yeah.
dial and you went insane. That's when you stopped getting out for the rest of the year because the week 7 was against Ishak
Yep.
on Memorial 1, and you were playing for the bye.
Yeah, we needed one of 2 games.
One of 2 games for
Carlos
the bye.
was away. Tuna was not there, so we already have 10. Loudon was leaving it was a 10:30, I believe, hard stop.
For a ballet recital. Tuna's refusal to show up when he wasn't starting the game is remarkable. He refused to show up.
Yeah, I sort of knew what I was getting with Tuna. I knew I couldn't
Amazing.
count on him for much. He said, "I'm giving you the 4 games and that's it," so I was happy. Thank you, Tuna. He did his part for sure, but listen, he told me he wasn't going to make it, so I said, "Guys, we have 10 game 1, or up until 10:30, we got to win this game. We have 9 game 2 with Jacob Cohen in left and Juju in right. Odds ain't looking too pretty, but we did it. It was a crazy, crazy game. One of the best I've been a part of, that game 1. But yeah, it's
Fun game, 10-9 or 11-10 or something
like
crazy.
that, back and forth.
Really, and that's when we saw the emergence of Cookie Cohen as well, demanding that you guys come back and win this game. End this inning already.
Must.
What is this? How long is this inning going on when they were scoring?
And you're right, by the way. It was after that week 7 where I sort of exhaled. I said, we have the bye.
We have Naby.
We have Naby. We're good. We're locked in. And I knew we weren't going to get beat in the series. I just knew it. I know T.I.'s team, Biblical, took us to the limit, 3 games. But even that 3rd game, I was confident. We had a team barbecue before that game 3, after games 1 and 2 on a Wednesday night or something, and we just sat around and we said, guys, we know that this is not the end for us.
Right.
Let's enjoy our burgers, our beers, whatever it was, and we said, guys, we know it's not the end, so let's lock in Friday. Let's just do what we have
It's
to
so
do.
scary before a Friday because it's just one game.
Anything
We
can
saw
happen.
you in the first 2 games of that series throw a couple of balls in the parking lot. That was
Yeah.
in the playoffs or no?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
playoffs.
So, like,
Games 1 and 2.
so let's say you're good in that game. Mocas could easily throw a ball away,
Right.
and that could be the game. Like, it's
Crazy.
so hard when
Anything
it comes
could
down
happen.
to one game.
Anything
it's so
could happen.
scary.
One mistake could cost you. One situation where you don't move the runners over, one walk, anything could cost you. So it's nail biting. I mean, before the game, I was locked in. In the game, you're locked in, but it's sort of, you know that anything could happen. You got to take advantage of every single opportunity. Guys on, runners on, whatever it is.
Take us through the conversations between you and T.I. when Marty Anteby was getting engaged that day, and were you open or willing to delaying the game, moving the game up, playing during the week, all that stuff? Take us through that whole situation.
Yeah, so T.I., one of a kind, gotta love T.I., he's the best, but he told me after week 7, or after he won round 1, he's like, hey, listen, Marty may be out game 3, we may have to move the game because he has his engagement for game 3. This was before the series. I said, okay, don't worry about it, we'll deal with it then. He's like, okay, no problem, good, clean. We played games 1 and 2. After the game, we were sitting here. T.I. came up to me. He's like, what are we going to do? We got to move the game. He sort of started to, get nervous that we're going to play without Marty. I said, we'll figure it out, I said, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. Week goes on, back and forth. I said, here's the situation. Let's play at 10 a.m. His engagement's at 4 on a Friday or 3 or whatever it was. Let's play at 10. Naby happened to be traveling Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He was getting back late Thursday night. I said we would play during the week. We really would have. We were down. We were not opposed. But he was traveling, not going to play without Naby. So we said, okay, 10 a.m. Friday. I wasn't interested in doing the World Series on a Sunday type thing, one game and then World Series.
No.
It just throws a loop into everything that I wasn't willing to do. So I said Friday, 10 a.m., assuming, okay, Marty's playing.
Right.
Now the week's developing. Monday, Marty's really not playing. I'm getting text, holy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Marty's not playing. Tuesday, he's really not playing. I started getting mad at T.I. I said, stop playing these games. I know you're messing with me. I know he's playing. Stop BSing. I know he's playing. You're trying to throw us off our game. T.I.'s like, dude, I swear. I didn't believe him. I was on edge. Whatever. He ended up, telling the complete truth. I was getting texts from members of Biblical. We have to postpone the game. We're forfeiting. I said, okay, you want to forfeit? I'm in the World Series. Okay, no problem.
We were both fine with the forfeit if they wanted to forfeit, because you can't let a team decide that they're not going to play a game if they're not at full strength.
Yeah.
Then you don't have a league.
Right.
Then you don't have a league. Then you have wait for 24 guys to confirm, and one guy doesn't like when it's windy, and et cetera, et cetera. You get all the nonsense. Terrible precedent. So if they wanted to forfeit, we would have taken the forfeit. I even preemptively that week went to the committee and I said, are we prepared to accept that we could have a semifinal match and put a team in the World Series that is not going to play a game 3 if they actually forfeit? And everyone's like, they'll never forfeit. They're going to show up.
Right.
And I go, if they call me
gotta cover your
and
bases.
say, we are not showing up, and I say, okay, are we prepared to proceed? And unanimously they said yes. All of them. So that was that. What would you have done differently, if anything, that T.I. could have or should have done with Marty? T.I. took the approach, I'm not going to bother Marty, I'm going to let him go through the week, and maybe he wakes up that morning and decides to come.
I like that approach from T.I. It's the guy's personal life in the end of the day when we're playing softball. Obviously, I put softball before anything, as many do. I think it was a shocker to everyone that he didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to, get into it much, but we were assuming that the Mazas at 10 or the Mazas at 3, why not play at 10? Shower, you go home.
Yeah.
If you're willing to play Thursday at 6, why not Friday at 10? What's the real difference? It was his personal decision, and I guess you got to respect it, but T.I.'s approach, I think, was right. I think maybe we would have played 3 on that same day.
Which is funny.
I would have asked Naby, my pitcher, I said, are you good to pitch 3 in a day? If he told me yes, I would have said yes.
It's funny, because if you played 3 that day, that's the day you had your bad game.
Yeah.
That's when you were not playing well. When you've been able to snap out of it, between games, which you're human, everyone has a bad day. You had a bad day, games 1 and 2 that week, right? And Was it both games or just one game?
It was really just a bad inning.
Yeah.
It was really just a bad inning, game one.
It was game one.
Game one, yeah. It was a really bad inning. I made 3 errors in a row, which, I don't know.
Vico was here. He was baffled. He was
I think everyone was baffled. I dropped a line drive. A ball went through my legs in a row.
Yeah.
3 plays in a row.
Crazy.
Somehow, they only scored 1 that inning, which was a miracle. I think my Uncle Richie grabbed me in between innings. He said, you better not let that crap affect you. You better not let that get in your head. Yeah, there's still a game to play. And I think that inning, I got on first. I stole second base on like some sort of play. I ended up coming around, stealing the run pretty much myself.
Yeah.
And I sort of, it snapped me out of the funk a little bit. I was able to make the plays, but I was having a rough time out there.
Yes,
rough.
while Richie was telling you that, we were retrieving his infant in a diaper over in the third base area.
Wandering about.
Richie's an interesting guy. I would think he's your biggest fan. He famously went to Moravia and said, if you don't put this kid in the league, give him my spot, when Richie was a great player in that era. But he seemed to have been rooting for Biblical in that series. Are you aware of this? He was rooting for Biblical.
I think he's a big Zack fan, but the only person that he's a bigger fan of is JT.
Yeah,
so,
he's a huge JT fan.
Yeah, he's a huge JT fan. I think Uncle Richie even called Marty during the week and said, how could you not be playing? I've done this and that and whatever, but I don't know why he was rooting for Biblical. Unacceptable.
Yeah, the Brahas are on the other end of the spectrum. We the first interview we ever did was with Jackie Braha, and he was late to his own daytime wedding because he had a game that morning. So, to an Ashkenaz girl, he said. So they start the wedding on time, 2 p.m.
Who knows?
So it's great. So that's the opposite end. Richie probably couldn't even relate to what was going on. Did anyone? What's the worst overassessment? I'm going to give you 2 choices. Is it Joe G taking Mo Mala in the 3rd or 4th round with the year that he had? Or is it T.I. going with Alan Jamal and insisting, even till today, that he's the best outfielder in the league?
Well, I think T.I., still falling on his sword, insisting that he's the best outfielder in the league. I think that one's a little worse. Just because I think he was like 19 overall, which is wild. The players that were available then were, I don't even know, but guys like Nanu were available. The guy had an MVP year.
Yeah, he did.
And, if he didn't go
he should have won the MVP.
He was having an MVP year. No, he really was. If it wasn't for his injury, I don't know. It's that little bit of doubt where maybe he would have continued on this path. I think he still went like 5 for 7 when he got hurt.
He did.
Came back,
he did.
But he missed a week.
No, listen, he had a great year.
Phenomenal
and
year.
He deserved right where he was. He was second in MVP to you, and that's exactly, he was the second best player in the league this year.
Yeah, he had a great year.
T.I., at some point you got to admit your mistake. We all make mistakes in the draft. That's why you make a trade. That's why whatever. He refused to admit.
Like Mo. Sorry to cut you off, but Mo Mala has been in the league. He won a ring. He played third base. He just had a bad year. I think it was his first year in a while back in the league. Mo has an immense amount of talent. So does Alan Jamal, by the way. I've seen him play in other leagues, but it's tough. I think Mo just had a really, really terrible year on a terrible team. Alan was on a good team and then got hurt. But, he hit 2 whatever for 19th overall. Is just, you can't do it. You can't have it.
I don't know who's going to sign up. I don't know if either of them are going to be back or not. But this is the year for them. After they came back and not,
You could say year 1 was a fluke. Year 2, if it's a fluke again, then it's more reality.
Then you're bad. But the guy, it's very hard to come in and be good in year 1. There's a lot of pressure, and T.I.'s just building you up, and it's hard to live up to that pressure.
Yeah, the kid's a great athlete, by the way, and he is a great outfielder. But to prop him up as the best in the league when we have guys like ABJ and Irwin and Farka and Jackie Towell, tremendous players, you can't say that he's the best in the league in year 1. Let him come to the field. Let him prepare and see what the league's about. It's a different animal than the Night League or Brooklyn or anything else.
It's funny, ABJ and JT have both seemed to have gotten better in the last 2 years or something.
I think JT just straight up is one of the best hitters we have in the league.
Yeah,
he doesn't hit for power, but straight just base hits, line drives. He knows what he's doing. He can hit all fields. And ABJ is probably the best fielding center fielder. I know Irwin had a better year, but Abe's tremendous out there. Covers crazy ground.
I just love Abe's arm. I still think it's the best arm. Farka is as powerful, but I really think Abe J has the most accurate arm of the outfielders that I've seen really in decades. He has strength, it's low to throw, and it still gets to home plate.
There's really some crazy arms out there. It's crazy. Abe Haber.
Oh, the best. Haber's great.
The guy could just uncork something I've never seen.
Haber's a classic corner outfielder. He has the cannon. He's a good hitter.
Yeah.
It's just he's perfect where he is, right or left.
Yeah,
he's a great guy for a team. But he had a bad year also.
He had a bad year, but I think Mo Haber, his dad, said it best. He said, I don't draft guys when they're getting married or having a baby. It's just off year. So Abe got married that year. Congrats. And, I'm sure no one works harder than him, by the way. He's probably in the cages right now.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. When do you start building up? Because you haven't worked at all this offseason. So when are you going to wake up?
I've been working this offseason.
Have you?
Yeah. Playing in a couple of different leagues.
That's regressive. That's going to set you back. That's not going to do anything.
I
heard you can't make a play in these senior leagues, by the way.
It's a different element, different flavor.
When are you going to get serious and start to ramp up?
I've been getting
Typically.
serious. Well, we have Jack Abadi and I have Maccabees coming up. We're going to Argentina December 26th, so that's a big
great.
You just go from there.
I love the scheduling this year. December 26th.
That's what had me put my money down right away. I said I'm in. It's not in the summer.
You were also getting married at the time.
It was very tough. I was planning to go still, but wasn't able to go. Now this year, December 26th to January 5th. I mean, there's not much work. There's not much anything. It's vacation time for a lot of people. It's just perfect this year. So hoping we still go. There's a lot of uncertainty, but ramping up from there.
We spoke about the game against TI that got you the bye. You had a launch of a home run, and then you had a single that turned into a triple home run.
2 homers and a triple in that one game.
Compare that to the game 2 of the World Series. The crazy comeback. I mean, you guys were down, I think 5-2 or 5-1 or 6-2.
6-2 in the 7th with 1 out.
In the 7th inning.
With an out.
And you were like the guy batting 4th or 5th led off the inning. We were nowhere near you.
Yeah, Loudon led off the inning, blooper to Juber out. And then AB, I think, was batting 7th in the order. He started off with a single. Sort of quiet single, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Cohen, Jig Cone, does not own a cone.
That's crazy. He doesn't own a cone?
It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Jig Cone.
Yeah.
Does not own a cone.
Yeah, doesn't
make sense. And he had a chance to buy a cone like everyone else.
And refused.
Wow.
Yeah, questionable.
It is odd.
Just when you're dealing with signups,
Yes, it's very interesting, yes.
Okay.
Head scratcher.
He's out of nowhere. Navy gets a single. A guy just starts screaming, "Don't count this out." I'm like, okay, I love it, but it's kind of over.
This out, right.
It's kind of over. Like, I know you want to say, like, yeah, I believed we could do it, and, we thought we could win the whole time. I had a little bit of doubt, so I was getting ready for Game 3.
Of course. I never blamed Farka when T.I. went after Farka that he gave up and he took his shoes off. You lose games sometimes, and that was that was a loss.
Even then, Juju got the big hit, and he was down 0-2 in the count. He battled. He got a big hit. Okay, 2nd and 3rd now. It's still 6-2. A base hit. Okay, 6-4. Okay,
right.
Still, you have a lot of work to do. Carlos then clears a gap.
Crazy.
Clears a gap. 6-4. Runner on 3rd. I still 1 out. I said, okay.
Tying runs at the plate now.
Tying runs at the plate, but it was rolling. He's not going to hit a 2-run homer.
No.
I said, still a lot of work to do. Like, he could get this guy in, then it would be real.
Mm-hmm.
But Roland ended up grounding out. Okay, 2 outs. Runner on 3rd. 6-4. But I was on the sideline at that time. I said, just get me a chance. Just get me a chance.
Now we turn the lineup. Aharon's up, and you're on deck. You're the go. Now we can all do the math. Aharon's a tying run.
But 2 outs.
You're the winning
so he
run.
has to get him.
Yes, but you're actually on deck now.
Right.
At this point, I said it could happen.
Yeah, I went up to Aharon before that bat. I said, just do what you've been doing all year long.
Right.
All year long. I said, just give me a shot. Which you look back at the film week to week, he did this maybe 3 or 4 times. Game on the line.
Last out of the game.
Last out of the game. That's it. last out of the game, and he came through with similar hits every time. By the way, up the middle.
This time he had a ground ball to Juber.
Yeah.
And that would have been the game if Juber makes that play.
Yeah. And Juber makes that play 10 out of 10. Not
Does
9.
he? Does he 10 out of 10 make that
10
play?
out of 10. Juber is as smooth as it gets.
Well,
Didn't
apparently
make the play
not,
there.
because he did not make it there. So maybe 9 out of 10, perhaps. Maybe 19
Perhaps
out of 20.
9.
Maybe 99 out of 100.
Right, maybe.
But not 10 out of 10
Yeah,
because he
something
did
was
not
with us
make the play.
to win that game. And
But still, okay. Now you get up. Of course, you could win the game.
right. By the way, you went when you were talking on the recap show with Sandy and Jack. You said, and still when he's up, and still when he's rounding first,
Yes,
and still.
because it's true. Because I was watching the whole run, maybe a little closer than other people, but you were not hitting for power in this postseason. You know, you hit
Gotta
a home
take what
run
they give
in you hit in game 7, but like you were mostly going to where you went, in my opinion.
What game 7? Week 7?
Whatever, week 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
week 7 you hit one real home run over the guy's head, and you hit another one. And the triple was down that line. But in the postseason, you were batting great. You weren't getting out. You were walking a lot, and you were getting singles and doubles. You weren't really hitting the fence over there. It wasn't like a launch. So now I'm like, okay, Aharon's on first. I see the classic Z base hit to right. This game should not be over here.
No.
It should not even be tied.
Should not be tied.
Aharon should get to third base, and that's it. You know, like if that, he should get to third base. That's it. You still need. Was it Mocas on deck?
Mocas on deck.
You still need Mocas, Mr. Clutch himself,
Yeah.
to come through. But then it's just crazy what happened. You just
Crazy.
circle those bases.
I never stopped running. Once I saw the bobble and ride, I said, okay, I'm on third. I said I'm on third. I was rounding first base. I said, automatic, I'm on third. They're not throwing me out, and the game's tied. I'm saying in my head, running, split-second decisions. And then I'm about where a shortstop plays normally. I peek over my head. I see the throw coming in from Ruby Sack. I got the cutoff. I see the throw coming in. I said, okay, I'm still running hard. I'm going to round this third base aggressively. You never know what could happen. And I see the ball skip away. And
no backup.
No backup. And actually, very, very similar to Week 7 against Biblical. I had a game-tying homer.
Very similar.
I think in extra innings or something. And the ball also trickled away to that same exact spot. And Denif was the catcher at that time. He didn't know. He's like, do I leave home to go get the ball? No one's there. But if I leave home, he's going to score. And we sort of had like a split-second standoff. He went to get it. I came home.
Wow.
So Lewis, I said, I saw the ball get away, and I just never broke stride. I said, someone's got to go get the ball, or I'm scoring. And
The greatest angle is the one from deep.
A.B. Saka angle.
Somehow
Tremendous.
you get home in like one step.
Yeah.
You get from third to home in a split second, the A.B. Saka angle from there. And thank you, A.B., for being here and filming and everything.
Sick
because
angle, by the way. You see like some crowd reactions.
just
People are
crazy.
in disbelief. One guy, I don't know who he was, he saw that Aharon was going to score. He turned around in anger and started walking away. And then, like, you hear still yelling going
Still
on that
yelling.
I'm scoring now. Holy cow.
Everyone's like, oh my God,
Yeah,
oh my God,
it
oh my
was-
God. You
it
see
was
so many different angles
It was
to that
an oh
play.
my God moment. It was crazy.
It was
Just
really crazy.
I never broke stride. I don't think I'm the fastest in the league by any stretch, but you got to cut those bags.
You got to cut the bags. No wasted steps. No wasted real estate. You
Yeah.
cut the bag. You came home. You never slowed down.
No.
Aharon never slowed down, even though he had no right scoring on
Yeah.
that, unless there's a bobble.
Similar to that Farka walk-off
Yeah.
on swimming where I hit a similar shot to right field and
Farka, beautiful
Yeah.
running around those bases.
beautiful, gorgeous.
Farka also running from second, but that's different because it's a base hit. You know
Yeah.
you're sending him on the Knights. Running
Right.
from second to score that.
He just
clinching-
is a baseball player. You look at him, the arm, the power, the lefty, the way
Great.
he runs, he just looks like a pro.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 3. Very odd. We had a sweep. We had a sweep in the World Series this
By
year.
the way, that game 2, in the moment I was like, okay, and you look back and you say it's crazy. The further we get from it, the crazier I say that it is. I don't know, it just hits me more. And even in the bottom of the 7th, first and second for Elliot Zaka, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Yeah.
So if this guy gets a hit, that's it. We're in a deep battle.
Crazy.
Extra innings, and
A lot of times you see a ridiculous comeback, and then the other team comes back
Yeah,
again.
crazy.
You know?
you think that it's over and it's not, and we're
Wild.
fortunate to get the double play.
100%. You got the double play. Was that you to Roland? Or
Just Roland. Roland took it himself up
Great.
the middle. Yeah, threw it to first. Crazy.
Roland, we keep prepping him this offseason. Like, all right, you won the World Series. Do you know how many people won their first year?
You will be on a 2-12 team this year,
Get
Roland.
ready till you get drafted by that 2-12 team, baby.
He won't stop smiling no matter what.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Game 3, you take a big lead, you end up winning the game, play at the plate. In real time, did you think the guy was safe or out?
I didn't know. It was tough. I was all the way down the line there. I didn't have the best angle, and I didn't make the best throw either. I was waiting for the call. I wouldn't have been shocked either way. I wouldn't have been shocked if he called him safe. I was like in a split-second decision saying like, okay, we're on to the next play. We're going to get the next guy
You're
out.
saying it wasn't a great throw, but you were in foul territory. There's a runner coming. You threw it on line. It was high, but unless Jigga is supposed to stand over there or stand over here, you threw it right to him at the plate.
It was on line. It was just high.
High, but there's a guy running, so you have to sort of time, like you have to assume he's going to slide or throw it high.
No, I don't. I think there was room.
What are you supposed to do?
There's room to get it down. Just throw a strike. I didn't throw a strike. I threw it high. I baited. If you look at, there's an angle where you see me just like
hesitating.
No, just like running slow to the ball a little bit.
Yeah, everyone has noticed this because you are not jetting to that ball when it gets away. You're jogging to it almost.
Because in my head, okay, I didn't make the play, made the error, and I said, okay, it's supposed to be bases loaded now. These are split-second decisions where it's supposed to be bases loaded. He's not supposed to go home. So let me go slow because if he does go home, I know I'm getting to that ball fast enough to throw him out.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm peeking over my shoulder like this, and I see rounds third. First, I saw Mo Haber with the stop sign, clear as day. And then you see him running. He just kept running. And I said, okay, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to throw it home. Pretty simple. Jigga, I think that perfectly sums up, what he is as a player. I think that play speaks so much more to him than it does to anything else that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The guy leaped off the ground. I think that's his max vertical of, 3 inches.
At that weight. It depends what his weight is.
It depends the playing weight. Gets all the way up there, full extension, and, like a lightning strike from the sky, snaps it down and makes the tag. Obviously, everything that happened after, but he was out.
Yeah,
After video review, deep video review
that came moments later. He was out. Even if he was safe, they're still down multiple runs and multiple games without their pitcher.
Right.
So
we didn't. Yeah. Without the pitcher.
What do you say to people that say you should not have thrown the ball because you let the other runners advance?
Yeah. It would have been second and third with 2 outs, and the tying run would have been on second base.
Right.
So what do I say to those people? Which a lot of people came up to me. They said, congrats, but you know that was the wrong play. I said, listen, I have a chance to end it. I know fully what I'm doing. And, the catcher that I have and, the play that I'm able to make and my arm. And it was sort of like instincts just took over to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, may not have been the right baseball play, but I did it.
Yeah, and you could even say because you were up multiple runs and there were 2 outs and, you're up multiple games even, you could make the argument either way that you should take the chance because, look, you won. Maybe if you throw to second, the next guy hits a home run for all you know. You don't know, maybe it was the right play. We'll never know because that's where the game ended. Zack Ashkenazi has won 3 MVPs in a row. You now won the MVP, but he did not play this year.
Yeah, asterisk.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could only play against the 96 guys in the league that year, But, like you just said is there something there that you want to win? Does the MVP matter to you, and is it something you want to win when the 3-time guy is here? Does it bother you that you didn't win one of those 3 years when he won?
It doesn't bother me because I have a ring and he doesn't, and I'm sure if you ask him, he would say that he would trade him for a ring. I think.
Right.
I think that's what I would assume. I don't care about it, but I'd be a liar if I said I didn't care about it at all. You go in, I try to be the best I could possibly be. Obviously, I believe that every year is on an MVP level, and I try to do that year in, year out, whether I get the award or not.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bother me. It's nice to stack them up and look back, but it doesn't bother me. I did have a goal going into this year, which I told Jigga. I don't know if I told you before the year. I said I want MVP, World Series MVP, and
Wow.
I accomplished my goal. So priority World Series.
For
I
sure.
don't care about each MVP, but I just wanted it, part of
The
my
truth
resume
is,
over the years, just to do it once.
When you look at Mo Shamma's career, everyone talks about his rings. I'm sure he has as many MVPs as he has rings.
Yeah,
no
I
one
don't
even, no one
No one
even
knows.
really. I'm assuming that he won MVP a bunch of those years, but everyone talks about how in the
I
postseason.
mean, we have up until 2005 or something the MVPs. I don't know how many
Yeah.
he won. I
The
don't know if he
crazy
won any
thing-
post.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know the history. I just know
The crazy
growing
thing
up
about a
watching him
baddie,
how
though,
good he was.
the
Yeah.
crazy thing about a baddie, because that's the beauty of this sport, the Kakamba's year, he went 20 for 24 in the postseason.
Wild.
You
Wild.
can't do better. You can't do more than that. He
Yeah.
got it, and in Game 5, that great game,
It's absurd.
he got on base every time with extra
Absurd.
base hits.
That's baseball for you.
And
You
it's
can't
not for the
control.
lead, and not like you. There's only so much you can do.
He could have gone 24 for 24. He still might not have won.
But he has not won in 10 years now because
Crazy.
Untouchables was
Crazy.
2014. This
Wow.
is the 10-year anniversary of the
Wow,
Untouchables
wow.
this upcoming year.
Crazy. I think rings are, here, and individual awards are after that. I think anyone would agree with that. I'm sure Jack wants to win. I know he wants to win as badly as anyone. It's baseball. There's only so much you can control. Like Jigga yells at me all the time, stop taking walks, swing the bat. We need you to swing the bat. I say, Jig, I trust my teammates. You have to.
You have to.
You have to.
You can't
Like
win it alone.
Swimming year, I remember, even this year, you said, you knew I wasn't getting a pitch. Mo Haber stated publicly, Zach will not see a pitch.
Yeah.
They said, should I lead off? Should Aharon bat second? I said, it's baseball. Give me first base every time. I'm happy. I'm on. The next guy's got to hit. If I get 4 hits in a row and no one else hits, we're not winning.
Listen, that was the problem on Bub's team.
Yeah.
You got 4 hits, no one else got a hit, and you didn't
And
win.
you're not winning.
Right, you lost 1-0.
I'd rather make. By the way, walk is a free single. I don't care
That's
how you
why
look at it.
I believed Mo Haber.
I believe that. People don't believe that.
No, I
People
believe that.
Yeah.
And you believe that. I believed Mo Haber, which is why I said if he's going to give you a walk, and I said this publicly, why not take the walk leading off and have Aharon, then Mocas, and then Sabon, and then Jigga?
Sort of like Mojo, this is how we got here. We're up 2-0. We're up 4-0 on that team all year. Why change? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I wonder if they won that game and then they won the next. I wonder at what point if you would have ever changed it.
Maybe.
Because otherwise you become like T.I. with Alan Jamal. Like you just know this is what got us here. This is what we're doing, and you just fall on your sword. Like at some point.
Yeah.
You don't want to jump it, but at some point you got to make an adjustment.
You got to make an adjustment for sure at some point. After 1 loss, it maybe would have started to creep into my mind. After 2, for sure, I think.
Yeah.
One of my my first year captain, Z-Pack, I failed to make a big decision in the World Series that I believe cost me that World Series.
This is Ruby Shahebar?
Names will not be named, but I didn't make some positional changes and some lineup changes at the time that I think may have ended up costing me the World Series.
This is
know,
during the
but-
dark era, but from what
Yeah.
I remember, you playing on Logan Road, and Ruby was playing second base,
short center,
short center,
and
you did not want that, but you didn't make the move to get him off the field.
Okay, so now that we're there,
I mean, you're not going to come here on an
No,
off-season
so-
interview, no less.
okay, all
and
right,
not
off
say what
season,
happened.
everything's
Yeah.
out, but we played games 1 and 2 on Logan Road. It was actually game 3 here, standalone Friday game.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous game.
Go Bobby.
It was a 2-1 game that the Orioles won, and Ruby made a big error in a 2-1 game. Like you said earlier in the interview, a Friday game, anything could happen.
Yeah.
One
One
mistake
game,
could cost you. So like, Azid, I'm not pinning it on him. I love the kid, but I should have probably had different guys there at the time, and I think about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I could have had 5 rings instead of 4, and it drives me till today. You can't give up these years. Like, that's why Hubba Bubba last year, I was so angry with the team, and I never do this, and I sent them a message. I'm like, guys, you don't understand what you just blew, the opportunity that you just blew. Maybe we wouldn't have won or whatever, but we were the 1 seed. Our team was capable of winning. We could have won. And I said, guys, you don't understand the opportunity that you have. When you have a chance to win, you can't throw it away. It's so hard.
Yeah.
So hard to draft a team, so hard to be on a team, even as a player. Like, okay, you have an opportunity. Carlos was saying it all year. I need it. This is the team. I need it. Can't lose. Same
You mentioned the Legion of Boom team, Z, and I was on Rockford Peaches that year. I was the captain. We had the best team in the league. We were the 1 seed, and we blew it. I made a big error in the postseason that year. Huge. Cost us a game. And that year still bothers me.
Bothers you.
Still bothers me. But there's not one person that plays long enough that doesn't have the year that got away. That's part of it. You talk to Mo Haber, who's won a bunch of World Series.
Dozen years that got away.
He's got years that got away. Like, he had a great team that year. He was on the Royals that year.
Yeah.
They could have won the World Series that year for sure. Everyone has one that got away. You really got to limit those.
For sure.
I'd love to ask Mo Shama.
Got to capitalize,
I'd love to ask Mo how many he has that got away, know?
Yeah. How many rings does he have? 6?
He's got 6 or 7, maybe 7.
I think 6.
Yeah, 6?
6, yeah.
I'd love to know if he had a year where he was great.
I think, there's 4 guys that have, 6 or more, which is wild.
Yeah, DR is on that list.
No, DR is 5. He's not even on the list. Steven Matesh has 6. Mo Shama has 6.
Red has 7.
Red, Ike Yadid.
Yeah.
RB, a little more than 4, but...
yeah, RB's got 7.
And there's one random in there also.
There's a couple of randoms. Sakal has a bunch.
Sakal has maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, Sakal has a bunch as catcher.
Yeah, it's hard to win.
Mocass is amazing.
Mocass has 5, and he's 33 years old? It's crazy.
Mocass has a chance to break that record. How many do you have now?
4.
You have 4, and how old are you?
28.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I got two layups when I was 15 and 16, so.
You need also the layup when you're 40.
When I'm 50.
when you're playing, when you play third.
Yeah, got to be carried by who knows? I don't know. Little Ron Jamal maybe.
Little Ron Jamal. Ralph Hannon. He's gonna have a tough time this year, in my opinion, because A.B. Sack is coming back, and I think based on what Jeffrey Sacker's last interview, I think that interview helped him.
10 more years.
10 more years. And the way he was talking, if I'm a captain, I believe I would be able to give him the ball.
You know what you're getting with Jeff. He'll scratch and claw for a win.
Yeah.
And you got to love that. You got to respect it.
I used to be Ralph's biggest defender that, he never won a ring, he never won this, he never won that. But I remember the time he was on Toot Toot's team, that green team with Mocass.
That was a great team.
He pitched an unbelievable game on that Tuesday night. And, it's not his fault that he didn't win.
Yeah.
But now it's gone on another 3-4 years already. Can you, as a captain, give Ralph the ball on the mound?
It's a tough question. I don't know. In the right spot in the draft, anyone's on the books. I used to have such a tight list of these are the guys I could draft. It's maybe 18, 20 guys that I'm willing to draft. The other 70 are out for me. Now, as I got older, I sort of expanded it. It's maybe at 70 guys now.
Wow.
Which is crazy. There's still a few guys, but I would take him. In the right spot, everyone is pretty much worth it.
Right.
Almost everyone is pretty much worth it in the right spot. So, maybe 5th, 6th round where he's been going is a little too high, but a little later, I think he could get it done. It's not for a lack of talent. He's a good pitcher.
He is a good pitcher, yeah.
He has stuff. He throws strikes. I think maybe just needs to get the monkey off the back or be in the right scene or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think the Beast Mode team was good for him. It's too friendly.
I thought it was good for him because of the friendly confines. They were.
Who knows? He got hurt and they made the playoffs, so you never know. But still, I don't think he's won a playoff series, which is crazy. He's been in the league a while.
Joe G taking Jake to play short. As a shortstop looking, do you say, oh, wow, Jake's a great athlete, good idea? Or do you say these people have no idea what it takes to play shortstop?
I think a little bit of both. Jake's a great athlete, well, I'm sure he'll get it done, but you immediately throw that team out of a chance to win.
Right.
He could be a good shortstop and he could get it done, but it's just a different animal. It's just, you have to do a lot of things. He might be able to make the actual plays, but there's so much more that goes into it that Jake's not familiar with. It's not an athletic talent or ability thing. He has the ability, but you don't just step in year one and be great at the full job. It's more than making the plays.
I mean, the Pickles got so much heat for no pitcher. Joji ended with a worse record, and
Crazy.
he went at it with no shortstop, really. He
Yeah.
ended up moving Henry over.
Yeah, Henry could get it done, but I think for a championship-winning team, you want to have him at third.
And you know what?
Did he win at short for the Knights?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah,
He did.
he really got it
But
together.
that
for
was
that
a little
postseason.
bit of a different situation with the mid-season trade that made them ridiculous.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
Michael Beta trade and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was a good team.
Yeah. Farka for Marty. Looking back at the trade now we're a year away from it now. What do you think of T.I., first of all, drafting Farka after he went on your show and totally called him out, and some say got the captainship because he took Farka's spot, which is not true, but with all that going into it and perception being reality that he got Farka out and he took the spot and now he drafts Farka. You know Farka better than anybody.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he took him. Like, I couldn't believe that he drafted him. I never would have thought that. But T.I. has also been on the record saying he doesn't believe in taking pitchers early, so he wasn't going max. Farka was the worthy pick. Farka should have gone where MC went, because Farka was the best player on the board. But as far as the chemistry and the fit, obviously there was an issue there. I don't know why you would take him, either trade or I was offering him trades. You know, I'm sure other captains were, so he didn't have to take Farka, but he did. And then he sort of righted the wrong by swapping for Marty. You know, give me the Farka side of the trade all day.
Right.
But at the time, T.I. had to do what he had to do, and, you know, T.I.'s team made it one game further than Farka's, so
It did,
whatever.
but
T.I.'s great.
but without Marty, who he traded
Right.
Farka for.
Right. You bet your ass that Farka would have been there.
Farka would have been there, that's for sure. We know that.
Yeah.
Farka had a bris one time during a game, and he had to.
You can count on him.
You
That's-
could count on
that's
him to
all
be
you
there
know.
and move things around to be there.
I mean, Marty's a great player, but Farka is an MVP. There's different levels to it.
Marty's unbelievable. I don't know how he's going to react from everything, how the year ended. I know he sort of blamed me a little bit that, you know, but we did what we could. We were willing to
How can
move
he
the
blame
game.
you?
I guess he wanted the game to be moved to Sunday and to be moved out.
This is a 50-year-old league here.
Yeah, and I wasn't open to that at all. And I spoke to him a couple times during that week, and I told him, listen, you do what you think is right. And I know T.I.'s not openly pushing him, but I'm sure he heard it from his teammates. He heard it from the other people. But he blamed me that he was getting the pressure all week during a very, I guess, special week. You know,
Right.
he's getting
No,
engaged.
it's for sure special.
The emotional, you know, thing, the wife,
sure.
this, that. So, yeah, I mean, he was put under a lot of pressure that week, so I guess he blamed me that we created this pressure cooker.
This is the league that we live in. It's
This
a
is
ton
the
of
league.
pressure.
Right, but Marty's also
Ton of
someone that
pressure all around.
he's gone backpacking in the past and left in the middle of the season. So
Right, but at least he told you before the season. That was
Right.
on. That's why he went in the 5th round. He said, "I'm going away."
right, and he went on the 5th round for that. Was it the Tigers, that team?
I think it was the Tigers.
Same
yeah.
as the Jacobati. That was
And
the
they got
dark
Aharon.
cloud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that
got
was-
Aharon, I believe, and then
Yeah.
he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think they ended up with Leo Pichotto. Anyways,
I hope he's
Yeah.
not turned off from the experience where he
no,
doesn't
he's a
even
great
play
player.
this year.
We need him back. He's a great player, and that's it. We just need him back. I hope that he doesn't hold that either.
Like, from my position, I worry that someone like Marty wouldn't sign up because of that. Someone that like Barsano or Yakov wouldn't sign up because they were on that ridiculous team. You know, Mo Mala had a horrible year. Does that mean we lose him? Alan Jamal had a horrible year. Does that mean we lose him? I don't know. You know, you just never
I
know.
think that what I would say to those guys is you have good years, like we said, and you have bad years, like we said. You're not going to have it. If you have a terrible year 3 years in a row, okay, I won't fault you. You know,
Right.
like if you're really having the worst time ever, which I think is hard to do, then okay, you know, maybe it's not for you. But chances are you're going to have a phenomenal year, and that feeds you.
Yeah.
You know, you have a year like this one, shake and bake, and you're just on a high. You want to play for 30 years and never stop.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Pickles, that whole roster. Like, even like Jordy. Jordy's been having really good years lately. You know, I think he's been getting
Yeah.
better and better and better, still at this age, and he has a bunch of rings. But that year, he's a league veteran now. Somehow these young guys all became league veterans.
Crazy.
You know, you blink your eyes, and all of a sudden, JT, Jordy, these guys are the older guys now. But, like, That's another year that he knew he had no chance of winning the World Series. And he may say it's not worth my time. That's what I always worry about before I send out the link is who's going to sign up. I know we have some young studs coming in, but who are we losing? Like last year we lost a lot of talent. We lost Mark, we lost Lee, we lost Shalou, we lost
a lot
John.
of shortstop talent, but I think the league gained a lot of other talent, other positions overall. I think that's what we gained, especially in the last 2 years. But yeah, we would love to have those shortstops back. But Jordy is not a guy I'm worried about. He's healthy now. I think the shoulder was bugging him a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now he has a full year off. I think he even coming into this year wasn't 100%. Jordy loves the league. He's a tremendous player. I'm not worried about him, but I'm not worried about the Pickles in general. But I think it goes into more the captain selection. Mm-hmm. I think it's important. You're relying on these guys to shape the experience for the other 11 players.
Yeah.
You have 96 guys that are
big responsibility.
It's huge. I mean, I'm going out there to win every year. I'm sure the captains are trying to win, but if you just try something like no pitcher and have a disaster year, it ruins 6 months for 11 other guys that are looking forward to it from now. We're sitting out here on Thanksgiving giving an interview because we care.
So that's the case for Mo Haber. The guys on his team will have the best time you could ever have.
Ever.
You can't have a better time than playing on his team because I've been on his team.
Yeah.
The case against him is that
he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
And he's proven to
and
be
his
a
team
winner.
will be good. His team will be good, and he'll make the
And
moves.
if they're not good, he'll trade everyone to make it good.
He'll do anything.
So he cares.
Right. The case against him is that we have a league also, not just a team. So it's a tough thing, you know. Okay. What else you got for me, Zach? Anything or
nothing? Can't wait to get back out there.
This quiet off season has progressed. We're already in December.
Yeah. By the way, you blink and we're at signups.
We're at
in
signups
like 6
another
weeks.
month from now.
6
Yeah.
weeks,
Yeah. By January
Crazy.
we're gonna do signups, and we're gonna hopefully by winter vacation we're gonna be hearing rumors on who's becoming a captain and who's not. I think
nothing better than the rumor mill. You know,
the
who's
rumor
joining
mill.
this guy.
The rumor mill is going to get this guy in. He's
Yeah.
great, and then you see him play, and he's not great. We get that every year.
Yeah, it's great.
He's this one's nephew.
The basketball player trying to become the baseball player. It's
The annual Sam Michon is joining, and then he doesn't join.
No, he's out.
He's learning. He's playing ball. He's
doing anything but playing softball.
Right.
But
the best additions we've had is the pitchers. We got Edman. We got Eddie Harari.
That's where I think this is where you make your money, Norman. The sign-ups and the list is probably the toughest job that you have to do, and I think even more so the pitchers this year is crazy. I mean, you have A.B. Saka coming back, who has been pitching tremendously in the Tahine League.
You gotta stop.
I know you bug out from it, but A.B. Saka, a guy who hasn't pitched in 2 years, he's getting work in now. What's wrong with that?
For him, that's good.
Okay,
for him, it's good. You are getting worse every time you play in some Brooklyn cement.
I'm staying active. I'm keeping the body going. I have Maccabees coming up.
That I like. The Maccabees is good.
So I'm keeping the body. Softball, 12 months a year.
Zach, I'm getting reports on your performance in this Tahine League and what's going on in the dugout.
Listen, it's a different thing. Yeah, we're drinking. We're barbecuing. You have Nabi, the best player in the community. He's on the grill in between innings, you know. It's a special place.
Listen, when you
Tahine is fun.
When you have 7 errors and go 0 for 8 opening day, I'm gonna remind you why. And that's when you start 0 and 2, and you're scratching your head and you're puzzled as to why this is happening. I will remind you how you spent your off season. Downgrading your game and bringing Nabi with you. That poor soul, that poor lost soul doesn't know any better. You bring him with you to the Tahine League to downgrade his game.
I want you to ask him how much fun he is having.
I'm sure he's having fun.
And the rest of the team. We have a tremendous collection of heads. You have DK and guys that used to be in the league, Mike Gira, just great heads. Joe Eshko, we're having fun.
Mike Gira is a good guy.
Oh, great guy. You need him back in the league.
I don't know. He can't use and abuse us and just come in one year, leave the next year.
Those days are over for the league. You know,
the
league has gotten too good. You know, I worry like when T-Pup is ready to come back into the league.
Could be tough.
It's
going to be pretty tough. T-Pup can't just decide,
he's going to have to pull the brother string.
It's
It's
going to be tough. Maybe we're going to give you one brother at a time. I don't know if we can give up 3 spots for you.
I don't know. It's tough.
All right, on Thanksgiving morning, Zach, unbelievable.
Thankful for the YMSL, Norm.
Thankful
for you.
Thankful for everything. Thankful for you guys, and I guess you're gonna go have some turkey.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Enjoy
where are
the
you
day.
spending your Thanksgiving, Sarah?
Yeah, by my parents.
Nice, Sarah
Yeah,
and
pumped.
Vico. I
Always
bumped
good to
into
be
them.
here.
Bumped into them last night. It was
I
great to
heard.
see them. Bumped into a lot. I bumped into Mo Cass last night.
Yeah, heard there a lot. The stars were out last night.
Yeah, bumped into JT last night.
Wow. What does JT have to say? You know, there's a lot of getting a lot of text, Norm. Yeah, we may as well bring it up while we're here.
Yeah,
The
JT.
podcast. What? You
Yeah.
know, got a lot of people asking.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are people actually asking
People
you?
are actually asking, believe it or not.
No one has asked me. How about
Yeah.
that? Except for
'Cause
JT.
you know,
Except
yeah.
for you and JT.
Yeah.
No one has told me I need this podcast
I
in my
just
life.
keep telling people it's contract disputes with the network. I don't know what else to say.
That's it.
That's it.
That's what it is. But I'm enjoying this quiet off season, and sure enough, it's over almost.
By the way, it could be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the podcast. Love to talk about it. Love to hear people's opinions. 12 months a year keeps me busy. But you know, created maybe a lot of chaos last year.
When did
also.
it end last year, the podcast?
Last episode was a post-draft show, February 28th. Wow.
Is that in between the first and second, like in between the Wednesday and the Sunday?
I think it was after the Sunday.
Check it out. Check the calendar out.
Oh, all the events that preceded and proceeded Saturday night's festivities.
Saturday night is the rest of the
Yeah.
draft.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got on right after night one, after the chaos.
Yeah. So the chaos involved JT personally because he was on that team with
Yeah.
Jack Abadi, which was an absolutely terrible trade by Abadi.
Terrible.
So now JT had the voice and used that to say,
Right.
I'm not playing on this team if you give me the next best
and
guy.
myself, who had the other voice, was, I would say, the lead person bashing JT.
Yeah.
I didn't like that he was doing that and making demands and whatever. But yeah, that's what it was.
It's very hard for players to control the podcast when it affects you so personally. JT was the guy affected the most by this Jack Abadi thing.
Yeah.
And he was holding it against the league. You know, I don't know if that's so healthy, really.
You know, we could rehash that whole situation, which was near impossible.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think looking back, everyone would say that they're happy with the outcome and what you were able to do and Sammy S's was able to do. I think it's nice.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. It worked out.
So that's that.
That's that.
We're here with Zack Ashkenazi.
No podcast.
We are signing off now. I mean, I don't see anyone that's really begging for it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it's good to have a nice off season.
Clean-
and now we're
clean
gonna
off
ramp.
season.
It's a nice clean off season. Maybe we'll ramp it up. It's not that it's anything against you or against JT. It's that there's really no pressing need for it this year.
There isn't.
Maybe next year there's a need for it. Maybe there's not. But you know, I
agree.
I think it just worked out beautifully and naturally, and we're progressing. And maybe we'll get a couple. There's a couple of guys I want to interview before the season begins. Couple of.
What do you have on your radar?
You're a main. You know who I have on my radar?
Yeah.
I really want to interview Edmund Beta.
Okay.
I think I have a lot of questions for him, and I really want to interview. This is going to shock you, Eddie Harari,
Wow.
because what is he doing to improve his game?
It's a good question.
That's my opening question
It's
to
a
him.
good question.
You know, I could do this all day long.
Yeah.
We could have 12 episodes of this, and we could figure out. We'll end up talking about something from 20 years ago at some point.
For sure.
But those two guys, I would really love to interview.
By the way, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice 1-2 punch. Just hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
You know, they're sort of new to the league relatively.
Maybe even together.
Could be nice.
You know?
I don't know. Interesting to hear what those guys have to say because they don't speak a lot.
Right.
And it's nice to get them on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie, you know, whatever. He didn't go out the way I'm sure he wanted to go out.
And he's
he
not
won
getting
2 Cy
better.
Youngs.
Got to get better.
Did he win 2 Cy Youngs already?
I think so, yeah.
Crazy. That's good.
Yeah,
3
he won
years
2.
in the league.
He won 2 in a row. So it's hard to say he's not getting better, but he can't go in with one pitch.
No.
you got to use the outside half of the plate.
Got to go into the lab, but
Yep.
I know he cares, so I'm sure he's working hard.
From Fireman's West on Thanksgiving morning, Zack Ashkenazi
Thank you, Norm.
with the Cone. The Cone did a fine job
Cone
here.
did a fine job. Cone's got 1 ring, 1 for 1.
Cone's got 1 ring over here. Actually, this Cone has a ring. Mocass's Cone has a ring. Jigga's Cone
Wow.
has a ring.
Buy a cone, increase your odds.
3 rings for the Cone
Crazy.
out of 8.
Crazy.
That's a big
and
percentage.
a couple of cones on the other side that may have won a ring. So
Yes, so I think
buy a cone.
you can't.
Can't.
You can't.
Can't.
It's
You
over
want
now.
it? Can't have it.
All right, Zach, thank you for joining us, and happy
Strangers, we
Thanksgiving.
could be friends. I just need a way out of my head. I'll do anything for a way out of my head. In my own way, just feel like living